Hola. Hi, Susie. First comment of the broadcast. Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thank you guys for watching live and on the replay. Thank you, Craig, for the first super hearts of the broadcast. We are live right now on Periscope and YouTube, but thanks for watching the replay. I'll try to cut to the chase, but sometimes we get a lot of comments and we get a little distracted, so that's just the way it is here on Next Juice, and I'm very sorry if you don't like it. Hopefully you do like it, because I like it. It's more fun when you're here live, so just turn your notifications on. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. I thought it was pretty magical as well. Hello, Mike. I think it's always magical when we're live here together. We made it to another day. We're here. Our internet is still connected. It's pretty amazing stuff. I also want to say a huge thank you to these lovely souls that make this channel possible over the last 30 days. This is how much they've supported us, and I love them, and I'm so grateful. I can't say it enough. Hey, Kate, welcome back. And you can become one of these lovely people as well by clicking the link in the profile, nextjuice.com/support. And I really appreciate you guys for doing that. You just have to send $5 or more to get on the list. The more you send, the more rewards you get, and the more it helps us out. I am super, super duper 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 tan from being in Florida last week. We're at Indian Rocks Beach. Thank you for noticing. If you don't know, I'm Taylor, and I read a new book every single week, and I do reviews on them live on Periscope and YouTube and summaries. I also write up my reviews and summaries on Goodreads. If you're on Goodreads, you can follow me. It's Next Juice over there too. All my links to all the different social media platforms I'm on are on the website nextjuice.com if you click the contact button. Hello, Mohair and Irish Mike. Welcome to your first days on Periscope. I love this app so much. I've been live on here every single day for about 2.5 years. Please do follow me because I'm here 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. And if nobody comes, it's kind of awkward. Thanks. So anyway, this is the book I read last week while I was on vacation, getting my tan on in the lovely state of Florida, my favorite. Well, I do really love Hawaii, but if I want to live somewhere, it'd be Florida. So Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Transform your business from a cash-eating monster to a money-making machine. So if you're an entrepreneur or you know any other entrepreneurs, be sure to share this out with them. Hey there, Greg, because this is a very popular book right now. It was this actually isn't even mine. This is my boyfriend's book that he received from one of the real estate groups that he's in, and it was also recommended to me by a friend's neighbor who has a pretty good YouTube channel. She loved this book as well. So interestingly, we flew to Florida. Hey, Reds! Interestingly, I wasn't as gung-ho on this book as a lot of other people are. I didn't find it to be so life-altering and amazing. It was a good book. It's a good, solid book, solid advice in here. I read a lot of books about business, so I'm a bit picky. I'm a bit of a harsh critic. I'll probably end up giving this like 3 stars. That's my guess. Maybe 4 if I'm in a good mood when I actually write my review, but probably more like 3. So the reason for that, the reason I didn't love it, let's just get that out of the way and we'll talk about all the good things I liked about it. After this, we're going to go bring that spinach artichoke dip that I made earlier. We're going to bring that over to Ed's parents' house and have dinner with them. The man that's actually the complete opposite of what this book is about. So have you read this book? He says growth is more important. Well, this book is about how common that concept is and how wrong it is. And I agree with that. So first, let me just say the only thing that I criticize about this book and why I didn't really like it is because this book isn't written for me. This book is written for the common business person, the common person that doesn't have great money management skills. I don't know why I have such good money management skills. I think it's just from coming from a pretty poor background. My mom probably wouldn't categorize us as poor. I mean, if we weren't third world country poor, so I guess we weren't that poor in the grand scheme of things. But from my view, where my mom's crying over bills at the dining room table when I'm growing up as a single mom, I felt poor, right? I didn't feel like I could have anything that I wanted, and I certainly never wanted to be crying over my bills. So I resolved at a pretty young age to never have that problem, to figure out a way to earn as much money as possible and keep that money or make it grow, to make it earn more, not to spend it on frivolous things, not to spend it on massive amounts of gifts. My mom is a big gift giver. She spends lots of money on gifts. She always did that for me for Christmas. And I remember having like issues with that. And I still do. I'm like, Mom, it's too much. You're giving me too much stuff. I don't need all this stuff. What we need is to like pay our rent on time. You know what I mean? So that was kind of where my background, where I came from financially. So personally, I don't struggle with debt. I don't really mess with debt. I don't really use credit. I use credit cards only to get like cashback offers and points. I use credit cards. I pay them all off. Like as soon as I spend the money, I give it a week for it to show up on the statement and I pay it off. I don't, I just don't mess with that. I don't have loans. I've paid off my car. We do rent our house and hey, Sassy. Hey, Janae. Hey, how are you? And I'm not really somebody, I'm not a big spender. I'm a big saver, not a big spender. That's probably the best way to boil this down. Sunseeker said that they're the same. Hi, Sunseeker. Do you want to be called Sun, or do you have let's see if your name is on your profile. It just says Sunseeker. I love the sun too. I'm also a Sunseeker. That's why I'm so tan. Although I do look kind of white in this light, but I'm super duper tan. Regardless, woo, a little bit of ADD going on. This book is written for people who have a spending problem, especially business owners who have a spending problem, especially business owners who have a spending problem in the defense of growth. They're trying to grow their businesses. Therefore, wave. Hi. Asha. Hi, I'm good. How are you? Thank you for the super hearts. Asha is a monthly sponsor of this channel. You'll see her name floating up here. There she is, Asha Villani, and she also won one of our giveaways when we gave away some body jewelry a few weeks back. Whoa, Wendy, Snow Sensations is here. She won some body jewelry on this channel too. Or no, she won shoes, actually. So we do a lot of cool stuff. Invest in dividend growth stocks. No, I do not. And the next book that I'll be doing a review on is actually about stock investing. And this is the strategy that I use. Rule number 1 by Phil Town. I actually am just reading this book for the first time. I started by reading his daughter's book, Invested, Danielle Town, which is based on a lot of the same concepts. So this book is like a big refresher, but I'll talk about that book and I'll talk about investing when we get to that topic. I do want to kind of spit out what this book is about, and then we can discuss. I want to keep it somewhat on topic. Sometimes I let it go all over the place, but we do have to leave our house in like 30 minutes. So I just want to make sure that we get that, and then we can spend, if we have extra time at the end, we can talk about anything. I don't want to cut you guys off. I love talking about investments. I love the only company I've invested in is Twitter. I invested in it at the end of 2017, and it has doubled since I purchased it. So I do love me some stock investing, but pretty counter to, like everything, I am not a very conventional person, very unconventional in the way that I do everything. So there you have it. And that's why this book wasn't my favorite book, because it's written for conventional money managers. Not money managers like that, but like the people who manage their money in a conventional way, which is to spend more than they have. Business owners do the same things. They say, oh, well, if I just get enough investors, if I can get enough loans, I can grow this business to the level where it will become profitable, which is completely stupid. I'm sorry, but if you do that, it's stupid. It's basic economics. Like, this is just 101. If you can't figure out how to make money now off of your small business by growing this business into a larger company which has more overhead, how do you think that that's going to become profitable in the future? And there's companies that have done it, right? So Amazon, most of the tech companies, this is the way that they do things, right? They run at a loss for years and years and years, and then eventually they basically like dominate the industry by getting so many millions and billions of investment dollars that somehow they pull off the impossible, and people think, okay, that's how it's done. I'm going to be the next Amazon. And it's the chance that you're going to be the next Jeff Bezos is like pretty much none, you know? Maybe there's one person out there. There's only 22 people watching this between YouTube and Periscope right now. Out of the 25 of us, I'm pretty sure we're not going to do that. We're not going to be the ones. I'm sorry, guys. The chances of that are just pretty much zero. So let's just assume that we aren't going to be accomplishing the impossible, and we're just going to want to run a successful business that doesn't take over the world, but it makes us some money, because that's why most of us got into business. We wanted to be able to make money off of our business. If you run a not-for-profit business, then this book, Profit First, probably also isn't really for you. But I'm just talking to those of us that run a business with the interest of having profit. And you might take some profit. When you do figure out how to make some profit, do you want to just take it all and put it right back into the business to grow the business? Is that the right way to do it? And this book would argue no, and I would tend to agree with that. You don't want to take all of your profits and put it right back into the business, because then you're not realizing any profits, right? The whole point of having a profit is so that you can pay your people. And us as entrepreneurs, sometimes we forget to pay ourselves. Hey, Jordan, we forget that we work there, right? We're probably the only person that works there for a long time, and we don't think we need to get paid for the long hours and countless tears and sweat and blood and whatever you put into your business. You should be paid for that, because if you do ever intend to grow your business to a point where you don't have to work on it so much, which most of us have that goal, you're going to need to pay someone to replace you. So that's going to be an expense, and you need to kind of figure out a way to make enough money to cover that expense as soon as possible. Okay. Okay, how's that? Is that microphone better for you guys? So what's weird, Brent, is even when I watch the replays where you're saying that it's doing the weird sound thing, it doesn't do that to me. Like, I don't hear it on the replay, and some people say they don't hear it either, so I don't know, maybe you just have like really, really good hearing, but hopefully this is better for you guys. This microphone is lower quality, so I feel like it might peak out a little bit. I did just adjust the volume, so hopefully that's cool. Don't worry about it. All right, here we are. Thank you, Brent, for the feedback. I do appreciate that. I find it weird that I can't hear it. You make progress on climbing the ladder, but if you're like me, you realize you're on the wrong ladder. Okay, so that's kind of a different. This is for entrepreneurs, right? So this is for people who run their own business. This isn't about someone who's trying to work their way up a corporate ladder in another company, because you don't have to worry about the profits for that company, except for the fact that you want to make sure that you get paid, but you don't really. There's no like climbing the ladder when you start your own business. You are the ladder. You are at the top. You are the person that owns the company. You're in complete control of everything. So they actually make reference to one of my favorite business books inside of this book called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. If you've been around the block with business and business books, you've probably heard of it and probably read it. The man, buckle your seatbelts. We're going to get into all sorts of stuff here. So I'm going to keep your comment there so I don't get distracted by new comments, and I'm going to address that in a moment. So The E-Myth is one of my favorite books. It's over there on my bookshelf. I don't have a ton of books on my bookshelf. I get rid of most of my books. I sell most of them on eBay because I only want the books that I plan to read over and over again on my bookshelf. And this book is amazing. If you run your own business and you haven't read The E-Myth, it's time to get that book. Go get it right now. Like, you can leave this broadcast. Don't worry. I'm going to leave the replay up. Just note, I'll tell you, we're about 13 minutes in. Just come back, pick up where you left off, and we're going to be just fine, because you need to read that book. It is such a powerful concept. And if you don't read it, it's okay, because I'm about to tell you what it's about right now, real quick. 3 different types of jobs in a company. Entrepreneur, or owner, right? The visionary. Manager, the person that manages the systems and the people. And the technician, the people that get managed. The people that do the actual work. The people that answer the phones. The people that make the deliveries. The people that deal with the customers. As an entrepreneur, most of us didn't just start out as an entrepreneur. Most of us didn't have entrepreneurial parents that taught us how to run and operate a business from the jump, and we just did that our whole lives. Most of us started working for another company, and we saw some flaws with the company we worked for. We said, you know what? I can do this better than the owners and the entrepreneurs that are currently in place. And, so I can do that. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do better than them. I'm going to run a great business. So we go out and we start our own business. We were excellent technicians. We did a kick-ass job. We worked harder than everyone else. We made efficiencies. We somehow managed to do, I remember I was working 30 hours a week doing the jobs that used to get paid out 80 hours. So there was 2 full-time people working 40 hours a week. I took both of their jobs and did it in 30 hours a week, and I wasn't stressed out. I felt like there was still a lot more that we could have been doing. And so to me, I was a really good technician. I was also a good manager. So in that company I'm referring to, there was no management, even though if there was, I'm pretty sure I would have been bumped up to that pretty quickly. I even proposed to them that they make a management position and put me in that role, but they're a small company and that doesn't always happen. But every other job I worked before that in corporate jobs where there were management positions, every single job I ever worked at, I got promoted to manager, except the one job that I had for like 1 week and they fired me because I couldn't carry enough jeans at once. It was a clothing store and I guess I wasn't meant for that. Anyway, so I was a good technician, I was a good manager, but I had no experience in being an entrepreneur. I just saw what they were doing and thought, okay, well, they should be doing better. Nothing humbles you as much as starting your own business and realizing how much more there is to it, because now you're not only the owner, the boss, you're the owner, you're also the manager, you're also the technician. You do all the jobs. If you look at an organization chart for a business, which is like the CEO, COO, CFO, the IT guy, the customer service person, like I said, the delivery person, the repair person, all these different things that may or may not be part of your business, you realize when you start out, this vision that you have for this business needs all these things. However, it's just you right now. So you have about 50 jobs. You have at least 5 to 10 jobs. And it's not that easy to have that many jobs on one person. You might think, oh, well, I'm eventually going to be able to work less, or I'm going to make all this money. Well, it takes a long time and a lot of hard work to make that happen. Long, long hours. So this book talks about the importance of spending time in the entrepreneurial phase and with the entrepreneurial hat on, so that you're focusing on your business rather than working in your business as much as possible. Now, what I love, because I've never heard someone criticize that book before, this book criticizes that book a little bit. It doesn't criticize the book, it criticizes the people that read that book and think that their goal now is to only work on the business, not in the business, and just hire a bunch of people to do all the stuff inside the business, and they just get to work on the business all the time. Working on the business doesn't usually require all that much time to do high-powered work on your business, and in a way it's kind of a cop-out. Like, you're just trying to get out of doing the work. You just don't want to do the work. And chances are, what they say in this book, until you're bringing in $250,000 a year from your business, and not in profit but in gross, that you pretty much should be doing all of the work, that you should be working on your business way more than anybody else. And until you're at that $250,000 level, you pretty much aren't going to be just working on your business all the time. You're still going to be working in your business the majority of the time. And I thought that was very wise, because I've been pushing myself like, well, how can I get to that level? I don't earn enough money and now I have this number that makes me feel very happy that when I get to $250,000 a year, I'm at a comfortable enough level where most of the jobs that I do in the business can be done by other people that I pay to do it, and then I can focus mostly on the business and maybe on other ventures as well. So that made me happy, and I hope it makes you happy too if you read the E-Myth and you loved it so much and you've been kind of trying to figure that out, because many of us get ahead of ourselves. We try to start hiring people in, and then we eat up all of our profits, and then we're in this horrible position where we have to either take on debt to the business, which is what most people do, because the harder thing to do for a lot of us is letting people go. Admitting and owning up to the fact that we messed up, that we brought on more people than we should have, we were offering more money than we could afford, and that our finances just weren't straight. We just didn't have that figured out. And that's why this book talks about the importance of baking in profit right from the beginning. You have to figure out how to keep profit as a constant and consistent part of your business the whole way. Before you start growing it, you have to make sure there's profit, because otherwise you can't grow, because you have no money to grow it with. So the man says, when you run a business just for profit, you will quit when no profit comes. Absolutely. If it's just for profit, then you might as well just go back to work for somebody else. There is no way that you're going to be able to run a business and the only thing you want is money, because it takes a long time to see that money, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of headaches to make that money happen. It's much easier to get money by working for somebody else, in my opinion. Now you don't have the freedom and the independence to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. You have to do it the way they say it, when they want you to do it, and how they want you to do it, but you get paid, and it's a lot easier than running your own business. Running your own business is certainly not easier than working at all. If your business doesn't run without you daily, then you don't own a business, you have a job. Right, and that's the way it is for the first several years of your business, maybe quite a while. You still don't have a job, you could still be running a business, but you're being smart. You can't start a business one day and then hire a bunch of people to run that business for you that same day, unless you've somehow already managed to make profit from something else, and you just have a ton of money. What kind of business do you run? That's a good question, actually. The man, what business do you run? Thank you, Bebor. Hi, Rhodey. Oh, yeah, this is the guy that says that I'm not a mastermind because I'm not on Facebook. I totally forgot about that. And how long have you been doing that, the man? I like talking to other entrepreneurs. I do have like 5 minutes left in this broadcast, which sucks because I do want to talk more about this. One of the things that I loved about this book so much was the financial management system for kids. This made me very, very happy because I have new stepkids. I'm in a somewhat new relationship, and I've had a relationship with new stepsons for about 6 months. And I have been wondering what's something that I can really do for these kids that they don't already have from their two awesome parents. And it turns out this is the thing. I can teach them about money. Yesterday we were talking about what dimes are worth, what pennies are worth, what nickels are worth, what quarters are worth, how to add up money. I was teaching them what percentages are. I was teaching them about savings. I was challenging them to think about their dreams. What is it that they want? And all of that was triggered by me reading this book and a system that this book recommends. Actually, the author, Mike Michalowicz, he actually does this with his kids. And I love this system, which is to give your kids jobs. So you post on your refrigerator a list of jobs and pay rates for all of the jobs, and then they can do them voluntarily. They're not required to do these jobs. These are like jobs they can sign up to do the job and do the job or not. If they don't do it, they don't get paid. It is what it is. A lot of these, everything in our house we do anyway, so it makes no difference to us if they do them or not. Other than if they do it, they get paid $1 or $2 or $5 depending on the job. It's like garbage, laundry, dishes, and then also working with us on our business, which actually we pay the most for. So if they spend 1 hour with us working on our business, either me or my boyfriend, they get $5, which is the most. They're 6 years old, by the way. So that is something, because I really want to encourage them to learn about what it takes to run a business and what we actually do to run our businesses. Thank you, Rhodey. The man, that's good advice for people who are good with managing their money and their bills. Some people let credit cards get really out of control, and that's kind of what this book talks about. And I'm going all over the place because I do want to wrap this up just because I do have to end. I'm going to try not to read any more comments. I normally do. I'm just on a tight time schedule and crunch today, so bear with me. I love you guys, and I want to talk more about this. Always feel free to message me on Instagram or Twitter at nextjuice, or email me nextjuice@gmail.com, and we can chat. If you want to actually get on a call, $25 gets you a 30-minute Skype call with me. You could do video or audio only, and that's all at nextjuice.com when you click shop. Now, the money management system, you put the jobs, the pay structures, you pay them. But then it's a 5-envelope system. Let's just talk for one kid, right? 5 envelopes per child, and 10% this is something I kind of modified it a little bit. This is how I do it. 10% for savings, 10% for bills. So you teach them that they never touch their savings. They're going to have this money forever, their entire life, until they get so old and ill that they can no longer work, and they're going to have all this money that they've been saving up, 10% of every single dollar that they get from when they're 6 years old all the way until they're 70 years old, and maybe still then they can still generate income, but if not, then they'll have this savings money. And we're going to teach them eventually about investing and about mutual funds and CDs and 401ks and these things over time. They're 6 right now. They have about $16. It's a work in progress. Okay, so right now we're just putting it in a savings account, a savings envelope, to show them how that works. We'll teach them about inflation and stuff. I know, but we'll get there. Okay. Then the other 10% is for bills. We're teaching them every week. They're gonna give us all the money in the bills folder and this in the envelope, because they have to get used to realizing that things cost money, and that they are contributing and they are paying, and they have to have a certain amount of money budgeted out to pay for things. So right now, we're not going to go and figure out how much they actually consume of the bills, because that would take all of their money because they have no money. So right now we're just putting that at 10%. So it's a relatively small amount. And now they're starting to feel like they're participating. They're helping to pay for the rent and the lights and the Wi-Fi and the Netflix and the entertainment. And when we go out to eat and all these things, now they're participating and supporting the family and the household, which I think is pretty cool. And that was an idea from this, directly from this book. The third one is another 10% for impact. It can be charity, or it can be starting your own business. Your own business to have a positive impact on the world can not only make you feel good and have this great impact, but it can also generate you more income to have more of an impact and also go into your other accounts. 20%, so twice as much, goes towards your dreams. And this is challenging them to think big. What is your dream? What are you saving for? What do you want to, not savings like savings for when you're older, but something that you're specifically, say like a specific goal that you figure out how much it costs and you save up that amount of money. And when you have that amount of money in that specific account that's just for that, then you can go get that thing that you want. So for them right now, they're 6, it's a chalkboard wall. One of them wants a chalkboard wall in their room, which is pretty simple, and for us doesn't seem like a huge dream, but for them it's a big deal, and they're really excited about it. So they're going to save 20% of their money for that. And then the rest is 50%. 50% of their money is for spending. And this is just to get them used to the feeling of what the power is of money. Now they can get whatever candy or toy or video game that they want, as long as they have enough money to pay for it. And that's very powerful. We're trying to teach them that money gives you freedom and it gives you independence and the power of that. So I love that. That's from this book mostly. I think I altered I really only altered the bills. For this, he says it should be a certain amount each week that they have to pay. Our kids are 6 and they're just being exposed to this concept for the first time in their life. I don't want to tell them they have to pay me $1 or $5 or whatever each week, because if there's times where they don't have it, I don't want them to have to dig into that other money. I realize that's the reality of the world, but for now I want them to really enjoy this process so that they stick with it. And then as they get a little bit older and more used to the system and have some more money, then we can get into that kind of a concept of, well, your bills are $5 a week, you're going to have to figure out a way to pay that each week, and make sure that they figure out that they have to earn at least that $5 per week and then go into the other accounts. So that's where we're at with that. I love that concept so much. And then finally, my last little criticism of this book, and I do have to go, is the over complexity that he has towards managing your money as an adult. Personally, like I said, I'm a saver, not a spender. I don't have a spending problem. I don't have a debt problem. I am the extreme minority. Most people watching this, most business owners and non-business owners, have a real money problem. They have a hard time not looking at their bank account, seeing the amount of money in there, and thinking, that's how much money I have, I can spend that money. They forget about tax. They forget about unexpected costs. They forget about emergencies. They don't save. They just spend, So he comes up with a list of 7 bank accounts that he wants you to create. 5 bank accounts, all checking accounts in one bank, and then 2 savings accounts in a separate bank to basically hide that money from yourself and keep you away from it and make it difficult for you to access that money because you can't be trusted with it. I don't have that problem, so for me, I was like, oh my God, yes, extra minutes already, just for you. So for me, I'm like, I don't need 7 bank accounts. I don't even have this problem. To me, it's just overly complex. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, now, so people are going to have an operating expenses account, a tax account. I don't even remember all of the accounts, honestly. Maybe I can find it somewhat easily here, but that to me is an overly complicated system, rather than teaching people how to have self-control over their money and how important it is. I think it's important to set aside a certain amount of money for different things, but I feel like you should have your budget. You should know how much that you have to pay for your expenses, and you should have that money ready to go. And if you need to put it in a separate account to make sure you always have it, fine. You could do that. You want to have a little bit more than you need for when you have slower months or any problems that come up. Probably have at least 3 months out of expenses in that account. You should always be putting some money into your savings. But to have 7 accounts to me was just like, whoo, that is really something, All right. So I'll tell you the bank accounts, and then I really do have to go. Okay, so the 5 checking accounts. Income, so when you get your money, it goes into this account. Profit, so you take 1% of your money and put it into that account, and that ends up being like your special, exciting, I think you pay yourself out of that quarterly. Like every quarter you take the money from the profit account and you like put it into your, I don't know, you just spend it. You do whatever you want with it or something. I honestly didn't probably track with this section of the book that well because I just find it to be overcomplicated and not necessary for me. 3, owner's compensation. That's important. I do think it's important to realize that if you as an owner, if you were going to leave the business, like what the man is talking about, and the man in the chat on Periscope, then you're going to have to pay someone to run things, you know, like a COO, an operations officer. So, sorry about that. And what is that person going to have to be paid to do all this stuff that you're currently doing? Well, why aren't you getting paid that amount? And having that money go in there. And they do talk about a way to figure out what percentage of your income all of these things should be. So if this sounds good for you and you do have this issue of spending too much money and having access to the money being a problem to you, which admittedly Ed said that he has these problems and that he really enjoys this system, and that's my boyfriend. He's a successful business person, but for him, he's like, this is actually really going to help me to have all these different places and keeping money for myself and putting it in a different bank and all of these ideas. So owner's compensation, 4th is tax, and 5th is operating expenses. But then you have 2 no temptation accounts where you have a profit hold account and a tax hold account. And that's where you transfer the money from your profit and tax accounts from the first bank and you put them into the secondary bank so that it's away from you and you can never touch that money until when it's time to receive your special quarterly bonus from your profit account, you get that money. Hey, if you gotta do it, do it. And if it sounds like you, get this book, Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Transform your business from a cash-eating monster to a money-making machine. I have to leave my house in 4 minutes. I'm so sorry for all of the comments that I missed. Please do message me on Twitter or Instagram at nextjuice or email me nextjuice@gmail.com. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. You can sign up to receive my book reviews for free in your email at nextjuice.com. I only send 3 emails a year, once every 4 months. Thank you. I'm sorry, the man. I know I probably missed a lot of good comments. Emily, thank you, Brent, thank you, everyone. I did introduce the kids to the money management system yesterday. When I made spinach artichoke dip earlier, I talked about how that went in my broadcast. So I'm reading comments, but I really can't because I really have to go. I love you guys. Thank you. You can sign up for that free on the website. While you're over there, please do click the support button and help us to keep this channel going and growing together. Thank you to everyone that makes this show possible, and shout out to the top contributor of Super Hearts in this broadcast, Miss Asha, and thank you Craig as well for the Super Hearts. I shout out the top Super Heart contributor of every single broadcast throughout the month at the end of the month, so I'll be doing that in a few days when July hits, in about 4 days. So I'll be doing that sometime next week. Mwah! I love you. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thanks for listening to me talk really fast about this book. You can also see a written version of this on my Goodreads account, which I should have done in the next couple of days. And you can always sign up to get these things into your email. It'll be 4 months worth of book reviews and summaries in one email. Again, only 3 emails a year, totally for free. Nextjuice.com. I love you. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. I hope to see you on the next Juice, and I hope the man will come back and have more conversations with us about this, because I love talking to other entrepreneurs out there about these concepts. See you on the next Juice.